Better late than never, right? What's going on, guys? It is your girl Dags and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I know it's Sunday. I'm sorry. I have no excuse other than I have just been very unmotivated to film here lately. I was sick last week, but I pushed through it. I am happy to say that I am feeling loads better and I no longer sound like the chick from The Grudge. But today I am here to talk to you about my April wrap up. So April was about 1, wrapping up JoJo's, 2, reading the latest and greatest edition of Blood on the Tracks. But mainly it was about diving into some of the one-shots that I have. Well, trying to knock out as many of the one-shots that I have as possible. That have been sitting on my shelf, some forever, some not as long, but I wasn't really feeling committed to starting a new series, reading anything, you know, particularly long. So I was like, let me try to dive into some of these one shots. So we're going to talk about some of those today. But before we do that, we're going to talk about Vinland Saga Volume 1. Y'all, I have finally jumped into the world of Vinland Saga and I love it so much. Vikings, revenge stories, just I love it. And since Golden Kamuy has taken a back seat for right now for me, this is a nice little replacement story. All right, JoJo's Volume 3 of Part 1 is complete. I am officially finished with Part 1. I'm a little conflicted. I know Part 1's supposed to be like the worst of them all, and it wasn't bad. I enjoyed the story. I think my complaint is more about the structure and the ebbs and flows, if you will, of the story. I just feel like we're always here. Once we get here, we stay here for a very, very long time. And when you have all this conflict, you're giving me anxiety, okay? You know, and in Volume 2, we got the rising action, if you will. But once the climax hits, there's no... You're supposed to come back down. You're supposed to chill for a little bit. That's what makes the climax good. I'm just like, can I get a breath? Can I please breathe before another fight kicks off? This is just so fast paced. And then it's just kind of over. I don't know if that really made sense or not, but I don't know really how to say what I'm trying to say. I like the action. I like that it's high action, but it's almost too much action. I don't know. Hopefully Part 2 will treat me better. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. Next up, I read Blood on the Tracks Volume 8. This is about a poor little boy who is trying to cope with his overbearing mother. This volume starts off a bit slow. It's probably my least favorite in the whole series up until those last 3 chapters. I'm going to continue to pray for this baby. I also read Waltz and Miss Cuscabe. Nope. Miss Cuscabe. Waltz is a super short story about a girl who sees her classmate, her male classmate, dressed up as a girl one day on his balcony, and Mr. Oshimi does what Mr. Oshimi does best. I know a lot of people didn't like these 2 one-shots. I'll talk about the other one in a second. I liked it for what it was. I would love to see this fleshed out into something more of a series. I think my thing with this is Oshimi is great. He is the master when it comes to writing terrifying women, terrifying realistic women, and it's just unsettling. So I think again, I'm speaking for both of these one-shots here. I think my enjoyment of these comes from the potential that I think it has versus what I actually read. With that being said, this is definitely a skippable story, as is Miss Cuscabe, but I enjoyed it. Miss Cuscabe is about Miss Cuscabe, who is DTF, manipulative. She's kind of a mystery, so to speak. This is narrated by a guy that is dealing with her, infatuated with her, loves her. Not, maybe. This is either a story that was just thrown together at the last minute and pushed out, or it is a story that is about a character that we just don't get to spend enough time with and get to see their depth, if you will. Again, this is another one that I enjoyed. Not so much the story in itself, but for the potential that it could have. At surface value, it's not that great. I'm not gonna lie to you, but given some of the smaller nuances that happen in this volume, I feel like that this could be so much more if it were fleshed out. On one side, she's promiscuous and super flighty and uses people and isn't that great of a person, but on the flip side of things, you know, sunsets make her cry and she can tell you about flowers and botany and stuff, you know. So I feel like there's more depth to her than was given in this one shot. Again, I could just be, you know, romanticizing this, reading into something that was not there or was never going to be there. But I feel like if this was a longer series, we would see another side to her. Again, this is another one that is skippable, but if you are a Oshimi stan, pick it up, try it out. Next up, I read Boy Meets Maria. This is about, what's his name? I believe it's Taiga, I'm not sure. He is an aspiring actor, so when he gets to high school, he decides to join the theater club, the drama club, you know, the drama kids, and he becomes infatuated by this girl named Maria, who is also in the drama club. But rumor has it that Maria is not really a girl, Maria is a boy. This gave me so much more than I was expecting from this story, okay? I have once again been bested by pretty pastel colors on a cover that makes me feel like it's gonna be a feel-good, fluffy story. No. This is heartache. This is pain. This is a package wrapped in a pretty little bow just to be opened up and ruin your day. Okay, this almost, because I'm a gangster, almost made me cry because it's just I love it. This was so good. If you're in the mood for a emotional read, this is what you want. So if you watched my haul video last week, I mentioned that I found a manga that I finally hate more than Crueler Than Dead. I told Bizarre Individual, who I love dearly, that I would try not to go in too hard on it because he recently told me that it is one of his favorite mangas, and I am so sorry. But You Are My Happiness was not my happiness. So this is about a boy who meets a demon, and they have like a 5-minute conversation or whatever, and then they proceed to hook up very lacklusterly for the entirety of the manga. I hate this so much. Oh my god, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm sorry. Can we get a moment of silence for the trees that died in the printing of this manga? Just okay. When I say this manga is the top tier, the toppest of the tiers of trash, S tier trash, S tier trash, okay? I hate it.
Keep it cool, okay?
These two characters, zero personality. The plot, no sense whatsoever. The dialogue, nonsensical. I want to rip this manga apart. I could do a rant video. I'm not going to, but I could do a rant video on this, okay? I thought Crueler was bad. Crueler is now in the second spot. This, number one. Hated it. Hated it.
Oh, God, I hated it. Hated it.
I just can't properly convey my disdain for this manga without spoiling it. So just know, even though I know I've said it 20 times, I'm gonna say it for the 21st time, I hated this. I hated it so much that I also picked up Melting Lover, and I was super excited to read this, right? And when I got finished with You Are My Happiness, I noticed it's by the exact same person. Now this is a short story collection. It's supposed to be some weird, different love stories. I'm not entirely sure. And you know why I'm not entirely sure? Because I only read the first story. And I was like, nope, 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 nope. We're not doing it again. We're not doing it again. So I actually DNF'd this one, which I hate because the cover is so pretty. And the quality of this manga, when I say this bad boy is solid, I don't know why this itty bitty book is so doggone heavy, but I love the construction of this manga and I love the cover. The contents on the inside. Next up, I read Came the Mirror. This is 5 short stories by Miss Rumiko, okay? The creator of Inuyasha, the creator of My Dear Love Mao. And these are just 5 random short stories. There's also a mini autobiography in the back, which is pretty cool. My favorite story in here is about a woman who keeps seeing these flowers and they smell so bad, yet everywhere she goes she sees these flowers. Meanwhile, everyone else around her thinks that these are the best smelling flowers in the world, and oh my god, so she's like, is there something wrong with me? What's going on with these flowers? And long story short, it's about a stalker, and it's just so good. It's so good. Give it a shot. I also read GANGANT 1 through 7. I don't have volume 1 here because I don't know, it got lost in the mail or something and it never showed up. So I had to read it digitally. I read this for my Mangatuber recommendation video. This was Elite Collector's pick for me. And when I say I have been sleeping on this manga, it's so good. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's about a girl who is a adult film star, and through a series of, I guess you could say, unfortunate events, but I'm going to say fortunate events because I think it's pretty cool so far. She can turn into a giant at will. When I say that I had zero interest in this manga, mainly because I started with Gantz, and me and Gantz are kind of like, eh. But now, after reading this, I want to go back and give Gantz another shot. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood at the time. I don't know. But this is just such a fun time. It's weird. It's funny. There's action in it. Yes, this is a spicy boy, okay? A cultured man manga, if you will. But it's not the focal point of the story. I thought, you know, she was going to turn into a giant and do some giant freaky deaky like stuff, you know?
Oh, you mean snoo snoo?
Not the case. I was surprised. I think she does do it once. But it's a minor scene. It's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more going on. With that being said, I will definitely continue to pick up GANGANT. And if spicy craziness doesn't bother you, then you also need to read GANGANT. Next up, I read Lychee Light Club, and this was something. I like the story, kinda. I wasn't too much feeling the execution. I don't even know how to explain what this is about. There's a group of kids, I think they're kids, teenagers more than likely, and they have this club, and they do some pretty dark stuff in this club. And they also build a robot thing. I don't know. I understood it just enough to make it to the last page, but at the end of the day, I didn't care about this story or these characters at all. The little relationship with Lychee and the one chick that they kind of kidnapped, I don't know. It was cool, but I spent a good chunk of this manga lost, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, I read Record of the Glass Castle by Mr. Tezuka, and this was a good one. So, brother number one and his daughter are in charge of keeping the family safe and waking up the father from a cryo sleep. The whole family's in a cryo sleep, but the father gets thawed out every couple of years or so by brother number one. So he decides that he gets sick and tired of it because while they're in cryo sleep, they're not aging, they're not having to deal with life. You know, they chilling, they living their best coma life. So brother number one decides that he's tired of aging and having to keep up with the family and deal with dad and the daughter, yada yada blah blah blah. So he wakes up brother number two and says, hey bro, guess what? I'm going to sleep. This is your problem now. Have fun. And when I say all hell breaks loose after that. I like this one mainly because it took a different direction from where I thought this story was initially about. It is dated. You can feel that it is very dated. It feels like one of those old detective stories that are black and white. And, you know, they have the shades drawn and you open the door and he's sitting behind his desk in his trench coat smoking a cigarette and he slowly turns the chair around. You know what I'm talking about? Do I sound crazy right now? Probably. Anyway, I love this. The ending I did not love. Not that it was a bad ending, it's just a personal preference. It feels unfinished. It's not unfinished, it just feels unfinished, and I'm the type of person that I don't like open-ended endings. I don't like ambiguous endings. I need everything tied up in a knot for me. So this isn't one of those stories that has that type of ending. So for me personally, I wasn't a fan of it. But with that being said, it didn't take away from my overall enjoyment of the story. Last but not least, I read Deserter by Junji Ito, short story collection. I loved it. Not too much to say about this one here other than I did enjoy it. The last Junji Ito I read was Censor and I hated it. So this was a nice little change of pace. And I think Scripted Love and there's a hair story in here about long hair, the long hair in the attic. Those two are my favorite from this particular collection. All right, and that's all I have for you guys today. That is everything that I read in April. Let me know what your favorite read of April and your least favorite read of April was down below. And I will see you guys hopefully next Friday. Bye.